Point of view, you have an e-commerce and you run an e-commerce, you are the CEO of this company, and you might have received the same exact information here. Can you send me the invoice to my order? I didn't receive it. Why do you apply a 21% tax rate? I'm French, this should be 20%. If I sell internationally, where do I book sales? I want to quit, tax report is due tomorrow, and this is a mess. Where do these all transactions come from? I have a hard time matching them with the online sales. We had so many orders last night. I have loads of admin work now. Am I supposed to send invoices from now on? Well, that's in the past. My name is Jules Barthelmé. I'm business analyst here at Odoo, and today I will show you the effortless journey of online sales into accounting. You can scan the pads and leave your question here. We'll answer them at the end. Anyways, you'll get the pad afterwards as well. The idea here is if your e-commerce runs hands-free, you don't need salesperson to drive sales, that's the idea, automations, then so should your accounting as well. Why needing an accountant at all? Well, that's the question I'm going to answer right now. Automation shouldn't stop at the checkout, and we'll see how we can do it with Odoo. Today you will learn how you can create and automatically also send the invoices from online sales, of course. How you can automatically book your online sales into the right accounts. How you can set the correct tax so that it ease your tax return. We all know the struggle. And easily reconcile your transactions, and as well as being fully compliant with the regulation through PayPal. So that all your administrative nightmares are gone. The idea here today is I want to have the point of view of a CEO. His job is not to do some administrative work, it's rather focus on growing the business. And that's exactly the idea we want to pursue with e-commerce objectives. But let's give you a bit of context. Today I'm the CEO of Odoo, a famous bike store. We sell bikes online, and we are Belgian. We are, and we have, essentially four kinds of customers. We have individuals from Belgium. We have individuals from outside Belgium, let's say in Europe. We have companies from Belgium, and also companies outside Belgium. And you'll see that in accounting, we should adapt according to. I personally hate administrative work. This is not my core objective. Once again, I'd rather have fire design e-commerce, having more sales, having the best products, the best service I can offer to my clients. Definitely not doing invoices and so on. But let's go into the demo mode. First, I will make some online sales, so you can see here, ads done. And I will do it for the customers, of course. The first thing that I need to do will be to create my invoices, do my journal entries, and so on. But let's dive into Odoo right now. To begin with, I will embody this Jean-Paul. His name is Jean-Paul, he's from Belgium, and he'd like to acquire one of his bikes. So let's connect as him. And boom, let's go to the shop and the mountain bikes. He's really thrilled about this new Cube Aim Pro Grey. It's a very wonderful bike, so I'd like to purchase it. I add it to the cart, view the cards, everything is good. I go to the checkup. Now he's already known from my database, so he already has an address, but if I click on it, you'll see that the only relevant information for this talk is, well, that is in Belgium, okay? So let's confirm. He'll pay by card. By the way, this card won't be in use for other websites, of course. And boom, that's done. And the payment has been processed, and everything seems to be valid. Let's wait a couple of seconds. Everything is good. So let's now face the idea of embody someone else. Let's say a French company. So I will sign in as the French company. The name is French Corporation. And once again, They had an amazing year, maybe even better than Odoo's one, so they want to grant a brand new bike for their best performing salesperson. And they also flashed on Cubase Pro, so let's buy it. Let's go to the checkout, and let's see the address. Essentially here, the two information that I want you to focus on is the fact that we do have a VAT number, which helps me to decide that it's a company, and also that it's in France. In other words, that it's not in Belgium. Okay, let's confirm here. Same thing. There it is. And we pay. The order is being processed, everything is valid. Let's now embody myself, the one who's supposed to do the administrative work. But should I? Let's see. So let me sign in as the admin and see what happened here. Of course, I could have gone for Victoria, who's my customer from France. She's an individual, but let's save some time. And my orders are already into my Odoo. I did it for you guys. Let's not kill ourselves with boredom here. Let's go to the orders. And I can see, of course, my 4 clients. Let's enter the first one. First thing I see here is that automatically I have already an invoice created. If I click here, yeah, the invoice is created, posted, and sent to my clients. Did I do anything? You saw exactly my journey. I didn't have to do anything. So that's the first thing. Second thing, you may see the tax. I live in Belgium. It's a Belgian customer. Of course, it's 21% for this kind of products. But also, I should do my accounting entries. It's already done, already in the right accounts. It's the 700, which is the one that I use in order to book my sales. Nothing very crazy here. But let's enter Victoria's order. She's French, she's from Paris, and she's an individual. You may see that the tax has changed. VAT is a consumption tax, as you know. And the idea is that the tax rate should apply on the place of consumption. Even though I'm Belgian, Victoria is French, she will consume the product in France, so I should apply the 20% rate, that is the French one. Okay, first thing. Did I do anything? Nope, automatically done. Second thing is that I want to differentiate in my accounting the account that I use to book my sales from outside Belgium. I just need this information to know if my strategies are good, to make sure that I have clear information about my revenues and see what I can adjust or not. Essentially, as France is a bigger market than Belgium, is really important for me. When I talk about France, but that would be the same as someone from Austria would order something. It would apply the Austrian tax rate. So that was for Victoria. Let's get into the Belgian Corp. No surprise here, 21% tax rate, and my Belgian accounts. Last thing, the French Corp. 0% tax rates. I'm in intracommunatory regime, that's for sure. I don't have taxes. And then the account is correctly set. So as you may see, my invoices were automatically created, sent, the tax rate are correct, and the accounts are correct. But the idea, I didn't have to do anything. Everything is automatic. I don't like administrative work. Well, so far so good. Of course, if you don't use the accounting app and you only do the invoicing from Odoo, I mean, you do not post your entries, then what you can do is also get into your database, get all the invoices from this menu, select in batch, print, PDF, let's say, and then you just send it to your accountant. Nothing to do more here. You may focus on your website. Now, we have made some sales, invoices, rights. But you may be aware that we need to reconcile them. And I will show you how to reconcile sales with transactions through Stripe. A bit of context again. Any bank transaction that I have on my bank account, I must justify it. That's a lot. And I must do it by reconciling it with the relevant journal item, which is vendor bills, customer invoice, or any other others. In this context, I use Stripe. Stripe is a payment provider. It's essentially who's responsible for me to get the money from my clients all the way to my bank account. That's it. And you may be aware of others, such as Molly, Edian, Worldline, PayPal, many of them. Today I will see Stripe. The flows are quite the same for others. Now, what Odoo has, and you may know this, is that I have the bank synchronization, which means that I can synchronize my bank account with Odoo so that every transaction comes in my system, and I able easily to reconcile them with the relevant journal items that are already in my system. Knowing this, of course, I will have all the transactions, and I have synchronized both my actual bank, the one that I use to make transfers, to make payments and so on, and the Stripe one, which is essentially the one that collects all the money from my sale orders, online of course. Now, this bank account is not really an actual one. I cannot retrieve money out of it. I cannot pay with card out of it. What happens is that every week or so, or every month, depending on your payment provider, the transaction, the payment provider will get the money out of it and put it on my bank account. Now, of course, they don't do this for free. There are some fees. So eventually the amount that they get from my Stripe bank account will be greater than the one that I actually receive, because they collect fees. But once again, enough chit chat, let's see what happens. Let me enter the Stripe one. You see all the sales that I've made. It's the green one. Green means good point. Well, if I click on it, I can see that it's automatically reconciled. The idea here is that we have reconciliation model that runs automatically, that see the amount of the transaction, the partner, and eventually the communication. And if those ones are in link with my order online, then boom, automatically reconciled. Once again, what did I do? Nothing. So let's move forward a bit. Let's say I end my week. So as I said, Stripe is going to take off this money and put it on my account. And the sum of all them is 1,905 euros. You may see that it's automatically reconciled. But let's see how it was. Because as I said, not all this money will go in my bank account, of course. There is some fees. And as you can see, I use specific account for Stripe fees. And it's automatically booked on this, the 38 euros. And then what's actually my money is the one here that's booked on the 58 account. That's an account that I use to put some money from a bank account to another. You may use another one if you want. Which means that if I get out of this and enter my actual bank account, I have a plus here that's the same amount. And business as usual, automatically reconciled. Didn't have to do anything. This is done thanks to reconciliation model. So if I may resume, what did I do? Nothing. So let's go a bit further, and let's tackle now the e-invoicing. You may have heard of e-invoicing. That's such a hot topic today. And as Belgian, and you will see that as other countries, I must send my invoice digitally through PayPal. Of course, if it's transactions with B2B sales. But what's PayPal? PayPal is the Pan-European Public Procurement Online. Essentially, it's a platform that helps you sending the invoice in a standard format. What does it mean, standard format? It's a format that is readable for any relevant software, such as Odoo, so that when I send it, it goes to PayPal and my client receives it. What's very magical also, if my vendor sends an invoice to me, Odoo recognize it, create the vendor bill into your system, automatically post it. Again, what do you have to do? Nothing. It's okay with international transaction, and it's secured flows. How does it work? Cube is my vendor. I purchase a bike from him, and I'm the customer in this case. In order for Cube to send me the invoice, he first needs an access point to PayPal, and then in order for me to receive it, I also need an access point. And of course, Odoo is an access point. It's already an access point. You can already use it. I'll show you how. And you can already use it not only in 19, but also 18, 17, and 16. But how to set up? Remember I said one access point for me, one access point for my clients. So here is another database where I did not set up PayPal yet to show you guys how to do it. So you arrive here, you enter the accounting, configurations, and then you scroll all the way down and activate electronic invoicing. And then you need to put your endpoint. The endpoint is your company registration number. It's everything that goes after the BE for Belgian or FR for French and any other. So let's fake one here. It's a demo, of course. You put your email and eventually your number. That is not mine, of course, but then I will receive it SMS, a texto, in order for me to prove that it was me connecting, of course, security reason, and then you activate PayPal. Well, they're not happy with this. That should do the trick. Nope, let's do this one. There it is. And then boom, you have your access point with PayPal. My access point done, easy game. Let me come back to my original database, and let's see here, if I zoom a bit, in my contacts, how should I enter the access points? Or should I not? Let's see. Let's go in the Belgium Corps. Of course, I'm assigning a VAT. But what did I say about registration, about PayPal? Essentially, the endpoint will be this number. So if I enter the accounting, automatically Odoo will assign it as the Belgian company registry, run a check to PayPal if that's the case, and then verifies it. Don't have to do anything. So that eventually if I get into my accounting, get into my invoices, what do I see as a brand new field that is the status of the sent. Okay, it's done. Didn't have to do anything. The person went on my online shop. I've never seen him. He made a purchase. He got his invoice through PayPal. Didn't have to do anything. The only thing is that I must have a VAT that is correct. Well, here's him doing it. So, perfect. So, if I go back to here, wonderful. You are fully compliant. Again, not much of work. Huh? Now, a bit of deadlines here. In Belgium, we must send invoices through PayPal at the 1st of January of 2026. France is 1st of September 2026 for large companies. And anyways, everyone is going to run on the same rules by 2030 at last. But depending on your country, of course, you may want to be compliant before. So, as a conclusion, today you learn how to send automatically your invoice, how to create them, of course, in the on the first place, how to automatically set the right accounts, the right tax, so that your tax return is easy to do, how you can easily reconcile payments with sales, and last but not least, ensure you'll be compliant with the regulation through PayPal. So, if I may leave you with this, your accounting takes care of itself, so you can focus on what matters, building your website, driving more sales, and eventually growing your business. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jules, for this lovely presentation. We do have a question here. It's a pretty long one, but it answers multiple elements. If my bank account is connected to Odoo, and I make a card payment in a physical store, how does Odoo reconcile this transaction? Since there is no supplier invoice, only a payment receipt, what happens in this case?
Can you repeat the second part, please?
Yeah, so it's basically how does Odoo reconcile the transaction if a payment is made in a physical store, as there is no supplier invoice, only a payment receipt? Yeah,
physical store is a bit different. So you don't have invoices per order, of course. When you go on groceries, you don't get asked for invoices. So what happens is that when you close the registration of your point of sales, then eventually it does a journal item as it whole. Okay, like for every order, it does only one accounting operations, and then everything is linked with this.
All right, thank you.
And I may precise this. You may want to have an invoice for one order a day. I don't know if you go to a Brico, you may know Brico. If you're a professional, then you can ask an invoice. Then the same rule stands, but you will have a counter written thing to counter the fact that you already booked the invoice into your accounting, so that you don't have to do it in the general one from the point of sales.
All right, perfect. I see many people have asked some questions here. What formats does Odoo accept for receiving invoices via PayPal?
It's a standard format for PayPal. I can go here. I don't know them by heart, but let's dive into it. Belgian Corp. And let's see here. You have all the formats. It might depend, I think, on the place of the customer as well.
All right. Perfect. I see another one here. Let's say I made a personal purchase with my business card by mistake. How can I book that by Odoo? Don't know what clients would be paying by mistake with their card, but hey.
Well, that's the same thing. The idea that it was a mistake doesn't change anything. You will get an invoice from the thing that you paid or received, and then you book it with your credit card. By the way, there is a new feature in Odoo 19 where you can get your credit card from Odoo directly, so you don't have to do anything once again. Everything will be automatically reconciled with what you paid and the receipt you get.
All right, perfect. I have maybe time for one last question here.
Sure.
Will more payment providers be implemented, like Viva Wallet, for example?
I hope yes. That's the idea, to integrate as many as we can. I cannot say for sure, but you can come by the booth. We have the booth, by the way, of the accounting or e-commerce that would be more relevant to suggest your feedbacks. I know Viva Wallet is a massive one, but we're looking into it. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again, Jules,
Thank you
for
very
answering
much.
all the questions. Thank you all for attending, and wish you a very happy day further.